This morning that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the 4 other alleged 9/11 co-conspirators may not be tried within blocks of Ground Zero after all. There has been pushback from local businesses, the mayor of New York City, and in recent days, members of both parties in Congress. The Justice Department is now considering plans to potentially move the proceedings out of Lower Manhattan. What does it mean for this case, and what does it mean for cases going forward? Let's talk to Utah Senator Orrin Hatch. He's on the Judiciary Committee. He's on Capitol Hill. Good to see you, Senator.
Well, it's nice to see you.
The big concerns for the locals, of course, are safety, costs of keeping everybody safe. You, I know, have other even broader concerns.
Well, I'm very concerned to treat Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of the 9/11 disaster that killed 3,000 of our citizens. I mean, to try him in a civilian court like he's just a criminal is a real mistake. He ought to be tried in a military commission. In 2006, the Congress passed, after extensive hearings and everything else, a military commission approach that would have handled Khalid Sheikh Mohammed very, very well right there at Guantanamo without any of the dangers. Now I'm really happy to see that the mayor of New York has now had second thoughts when he realized it's going to cost $1 billion, put New York at risk, and cause a lot of problems, to treat him just like a common criminal. He ought to be treated like the terrorist he really is, and that is a military commission's place to do it.
But, Senator, just to clarify, what's being talked about today is not moving these 9/11 conspirators to a military tribunal. It's to move them somewhere else, to some other civilian site. What are you hearing as to whether this is actually going to happen, that these trials will not be held in New York City?
Well, I think it's going to have to happen because of the mayor of New York City. And yeah, I'm decrying the fact that they're going to continue on with this absurd, stupid approach towards handling one of the biggest killers this country has ever known. Just go back a couple of years to 2001 when Zacarias Moussaoui, who was the 20th hijacker, he was tried in a civilian court. It took 4 years of time. During that time, he taunted the families of the people who were killed. In the end, because of one juror, he was not given the death penalty, and it cost the taxpayers all kinds of money. And this is even a bigger thing with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. We could try him. You've got a perfect place to try him without any danger to any American citizen, and that's right there at Guantanamo. I personally believe this administration is nuts to do this, and if they continue on this line, I think it could bring down the administration in the end. I hate to see that happen, to be honest with you, but that's where we're going.
In the interest of balance, I want to play what the Attorney General Eric Holder said when he made the announcement about trying these alleged conspirators in civilian court. Let's play that and we can talk about it on the other side.
After 8 years of delay, those allegedly responsible for the attacks of September the 11th will finally face justice. They will be brought to New York, to answer for their alleged crimes in a courthouse just blocks away from where the Twin Towers once stood.
Senator, you know, some have said they did that for publicity purposes, for political purposes, but the government, the White House, says, you know what, we can handle that. We have put terrorists in jail before. You bring up Moussaoui, he is put away for life.
They did it for, I'll put it this way, they did it because of the left-wing liberal ideas that they have, that we have got to show that we are better than anybody else. Well, we can do that through the military tribunal approach. Guantanamo is a perfect place to do it. Why put our American citizens at risk with these awful people? By the way, during the Moussaoui trial, the government mistakenly gave him classified information. It's probably going to be a demand by the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed attorneys that they should have access to classified information. And in the process, our country's put at risk because of these, what really are, I think, dumb decisions when we have everything in an appropriate position to be able to try Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in a military commission where we don't have to have any of these problems, nor do we have to have the expense that would be involved in all the security and other matters that we would have to do in any city or any military base or anywhere else in America. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't mean to be so harsh on the administration, but it isn't. It's that liberal mentality in this country that we have to do it differently from everybody else, when in fact we can do it in a constitutionally sound and decent way.
Senator,
and that's what we should do.
Very quickly, I want to ask you, member of the House Peter King was on Fox earlier talking about what he has proposed on his side of the aisle, on his side of Congress there, to prohibit funding for any trials for Gitmo detainees going forward. Would something like that have traction?
Well, I think so. Senator Graham, I don't know what his amendment will be, but it may very well be to force this proceeding to go at Guantanamo. I think either one of those would pass at this point. I think members of Congress are getting very jittery about the administration and their, I think, left-wing approach towards these things. Look, these people are killers. They're people who have killed 3,000 of our people. They're people who will take advantage of a civil trial. There will be classified information that possibly will be compromised. These are the kind of things that we shouldn't even have to blink about making a decision on. And the president has basically admitted that the military commission approach is constitutional and is a fair approach. Why should we give them a platform, give Khalid Sheikh Mohammed a platform to broadcast all over the world and spew out all kinds of poison against our country? He can do that in a military commission if he wants to. This is a man who wanted to be executed so he could be a martyr to his cause. I think we should you know, give him a trial, but it ought to be in a military commission, and it ought not to be at the risk of American cities or American Army bases or military bases or anywhere on American soil.
Utah Senator Orrin Hatch, thanks for your time today.